watching these games to get better. How do you assess each week whether you're getting better and what strides you're making?
That's the hardest part about it. As a coach, what you got to try to do is not allow mistakes. You sort of talk a lot about building. This whole thing is a process. Try to talk to your guys about, be alert, because Duke won by 1 against Vermont the other day, who was 1-5. You got to be ready to win the game. But it's also a process, because you get to a point, you may not win every game, obviously. So when you get beat, you got to get something out of it, because you're trying to build to get to a point. Well, by the time you get to your conference, you've won enough games to put yourself in position to earn an NCAA bid, but then you got to a position where you can compete for a championship. So it's just about building habits, doing everything right. We try not to talk a lot about winning. We try to just focus on playing smart and doing the things that it would take to get a win. But we do talk a lot about the process, on what it's going to take for us to be the team we want to be. And then a lot of it does, to be honest with you, a lot of the development at times, you don't see it all the time in the game, where guys are getting better. For instance, Kevin Johnson's played really well for us, but his stat sheet's not impressive. But his deflection sheet is impressive, and his film is impressive because of his defense. There's areas that if we can continue to build upon, like our shot selection has been much, much better early this season than it's been the past year. And then our free throw attempts are way up. And we try to we do talk a lot about what we're going to have to do to win games in our conference. Because our veteran players understand that. They understand conference play, no easy wins out there. What's going to fly on the court during conference play? What's not going to fly on the court during conference play? So I try to put a lot this year on our senior guys, because they know, and you have capable leaders, making sure they're imparting to the younger guys. That's not going to work in the conference. We hear this is what Coach is telling you is true. You can't win games on the road taking that shot or making that mistake. But we're all in the same mode right now. The key is not where you are, but where you're going to be. And the key to getting there is making sure that your guys are willing to do what it's going to take. You have to embrace the uncomfortable things that go into winning. Boxing out, being in a defensive stance, all the things that aren't fun, but they're the reason.
Sexy, yeah.
Yeah, everything. It's not sexy. It's eating your vegetables. Guy builds a house, and the wood doesn't hold itself together. The nails do. So you got to get in there and pound nails every day. Make sure that you do it in a manner that you're gonna, when adversity comes, your house ain't gonna have wind damage and fall apart, or be seeping in every corner. So that's where we just keep trying to lay the foundation every day by doing everything right. But it helps with this team, because I'm blessed this year. We have very good senior leadership.
When you see games like Duke and Vermont and Charlotte beating Michigan, some of Belmont, North Carolina, does that surprise you anymore, or has that become commonplace of college basketball to an extent because of the three-point shot and whatever other reasons?
Yeah, in college basketball is much different than college football. There's such a disparity between the top 20 teams and everybody else because of the physicality and the sheer numbers. When you're talking about college basketball teams with 13 scholarships, guys transferring, guys with injuries, some teams got 9, 10 guys on scholarship. A couple guys have a bad night, you can lose to anybody. And the three-point shot's a big factor as well. But there's a common denominator in all those games, that is, like I tell our guys today, over the weekend, Duke almost lost at home in November, and Louisville lost first time in 21 games. So the common denominator is both teams gave up over 90. You give up over 90, you're lucky if you win, which is, I'm sure Coach K would tell you, he feels they were lucky to win that game. I read his comments. He said they deserve to lose. So we try to, around here, we try to say our common denominator has got to be the defensive end.
Is that good for you as a coach when that happens?
Oh, it's great. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's, because especially when you have kids that are paying attention. I get text messages from some guys that, are you watching a Duke game? Because I start that stuff early, but then they figure that, they're going to show me, they'll send me a text. I wasn't. We were doing some reading homework, Sammy and I.
When you see a guy like this coach is in his first year and he's in a program that's transitioning to Division I, after what you went through here, do you identify with those guys at all?
There's certain periods of time in your life that you try to erase from your memory. And 2006-07 basketball season was one of them for me.
Me too.
Especially when I asked you if you had any questions for me after a game, and I looked at you and you said, "No, not really." And I didn't really have any answers. We just both needed something to drink.
So no, you don't identify with him?
I try not to, but when you see different guys in coaching, what I try to do is you always learn from whatever somebody's doing. And like UMASS Lowell, for instance, they're extremely well coached. They're just short on personnel. From a scholarship standpoint, they're playing a couple of walk-on guys, but their first five's pretty good. They don't have the depth that we have, obviously, or the size, but what they do conceptually is really, they're pick and roll basketball offensively. It's as good as anybody will play all year, so that's something that's going to be good for us to have to defend.
Do you know that guy?
No, Coach Darren knows him. I don't. He was with Al Skinner for a while there at BC.
When you met with Justin after last year, what'd you say?
Basically, that I thought that I had done a bad job coaching him, and that he would do anything to help our team win, but I needed him to average more than 4 and 4 or 5 and 4. He plays too hard to average 5 and 4, and I just thought he was playing out of position. He's playing too far away from the basket his whole career. A lot of that is playing with Yancey, and us trying to stretch the floor a little bit, but it just wasn't working either way. He wasn't really buying into the strength part of it. He wanted to develop his jump shot, and assessing him as a player, in my opinion, is the only way he was going to be an effective player and have a career after basketball is commit to becoming an inside player. The best thing he did, rebound, block shots. Well, if you're going to be a shot blocker and a rebounder, Dennis Rodman and Kenneth Fareed, you need to be a big, strong guy. You can't weigh 210 pounds and be an enforcer. Heck, I don't know if you can be an enforcer in soccer at 210 pounds. To be an enforcer, you got to be a strong guy. You got to be physically strong, you got to be mentally strong, and you got to buy into it. So the truth of it is, he has the same, coaching any type of guy around Justin's size, it's the same dilemma. They all want to be Kevin Durant, LeBron James, but I want to be Pat Riley. It's not going to happen.
You slick your hair.
Yeah, I don't have any hair to slick back. So at the end of the day, we got to be. I got to be the best guy I can be. He's got to be the best he can be. And, for us, part of it was he was coaching. He didn't need me to play the 5. And I said, you can look at it that way. But if you want to try to play the 4 and beat out Titus Rubles and Jermaine Lawrence, good luck. Jamari Strickland, who hopefully still got a shot to get cleared, Dave Marshall will play the 5. But, I don't like your chances of beating out Titus Rubles in his second year, with the whole offseason with us and Jermaine Lawrence. And it's not I've been playing out of position for 3 years. So it's just, I take the blame. He probably should have been playing all in the interior his whole career. I should have been riding him and demanding that he gain weight and get stronger the whole time.
He's averaging 11 on 60% shooting. Will it be difficult to sustain that against more size at some point?
Oh, no. He's got to, if he's playing a bigger, first of all, there are very few big guys left. He's got quickness advantage on those guys. So we're still going to, he's a huge part of our offense. You got to remember, too, now, these teams we've been playing earlier all been playing zone. So, with our man offense, we try to go inside to him as much as possible, which if you saw our exhibition game, you saw what happened, which is what happened in the early season. You see a lot of teams are going to play zone because of their size disadvantage and trying to, minimize the disadvantage. They're going to try to pack it in as much as they can. And it's tough for teams maybe to match up with SK, too, on the perimeter. When we're running the different things, we're running for him. But going inside to Justin, teams playing man-to-man is a big part of our game plan. We work on it every day. So, you know, I think you're going to see him maybe even more opportunity when teams are willing to play us man-to-man.